Welcome to the best of the Leon Charney Report. For over 2 decades, Leon Charney, one of the architects of the historic Camp David Peace Accords, has interviewed some of the most important figures in modern-day history. These interviews provide a window into some of the most significant events of the last 50 years. In this excerpt, recorded in October of 2001, Leon Charney speaks with Dr. Ihab El-Sherif, who was then the head of the Egyptian mission in Israel. The two talk about radical Islam and the Iranian Revolution's effect on the Middle East, issues that are still a problem for the Middle East today.
Welcome to another Leon Charney Report, and we're talking to you in Israel, but we're talking on the property of the country of Egypt. We're at the Egyptian ambassador's, I guess it's his office, not his residence. And as you know, if you've read newspapers in the last 3 or 4 years, Ambassador Bassouni, who was here for many, many years, was recalled by President Mubarak, and therefore the chargé d'affaires, who is Dr. Ihab El-Sherif, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, is the chargé d'affaires, which means he's top banana here for the Egyptian representation. Aside from his political, or basically his diplomacy, he's a phenomenal author, and he's written 3 very, very important books, which we will get into. It obviously, it's not an easy job to be the chargé d'affaires here, because you're very busy, and a lot of Israelis like to talk to and be involved with Egypt as much as they can. So we're happy that he gave us this time. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Welcome, Mr. Charney.
Let's talk first of all about these books. They're fascinating books in view of what's going on in the world today. So I don't speak Arabic, I'm sorry to say, so you have to tell us the name and the content of the books, but I know they're very well accepted throughout the world.
Well, I have to say that I'm not only a diplomat. I studied. I have a PhD from Sorbonne University about the militant Islam in the Arab world, the roots, the evolution, and the radicalization. And I have another doctorate with, they call it Doctorat de Troisième Cycle in France, with Paris University, Paris 11 University, about the impact of the Iranian Revolution on the Middle East. But I would say that these books are, in a way, the other way to express myself. That I'm afraid about those who are trying their best to isolate the Arab world or the Muslim world from the other. I don't see that this is. I mean, we have to face this. We have to do our best, and that's why.
You're talking about the militant Islamic?
I'm afraid to tell you that it's not only militant Islam, not only the Muslim brother, or even the militant, the other more radical movement, but it's a question of it's becoming something like a la mode, huh? A lot of people, a lot of intellectuals even are trying to say that okay, let's try to isolate ourselves, and this happened to America before, by the way, huh? in the first half of the 20th century or 20th.
But let me ask you a question: are these religious doctrines that these militants or intellectuals are following now? Is it because they want to adhere very closely to Islam? Or is it power? What causes this?
I think that the main cause is the fact that in the Muslim world or in the Arab world, from the very beginning, we used to dominate the world like the Americans are doing now. But for us, it was a question of centuries and centuries. Every time, it was from Baghdad or Damascus that the whole world was dominated by, in a way or another.
So you were dominating.
Now they found that it's not. This great history, this great past, is not the case now. It's a totally different story.
So they feel.
So in a kind of protest, they are protesting by saying that
they lost their power role in the world. Is that what they are?
That's it.
That's it.
Let's find our role, our old role, which was.
All right. So do they do that by destructive means, like bombing World Trade Center? Do they do that by listening?
Few of them thinking that this is the way. They can't face the the Western
okay, but you say something.
Progress, civilization. So let's destroy it. But these are a very, how to say, they are marginal. The number is very, very.
I understand, but you say something very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that the people who are poor Muslims are the ones that, let's say, become suicide bombers. But in the World Trade Center, we saw that these were pretty educated guys. These were guys who had families, who gave up their lives. I think they had commitments to a life, and they gave it up to follow exactly what you say, this extreme fundamental view.
You know, this is the negative side of the story.
No, but I'm interested in what causes that. That's what I'm interested in.
I would say it is a kind of doctrinization. You know, there are a lot of money in this game. You have to know that. And,
do you think there's money involved too?
There is a finance. Surely, there is a big financing, and you have to look to the rules of every of all this story, and you have to pay more attention to what you are doing in the West. By the way, I would say 90% of this money are already in
United States,
in European or American banks. So don't think that the story is far away from you. You have your weak side of your system, of your democracy, and others, all enemies are trying to use or to exploit this weak side.
But you're an intellectual man. Okay. And you know, people don't just commit suicide. They have to feel that there's a reason, other than if they hate their wife, right? And to do what they did. I'm trying to get into the psychology of the person who's willing to commit his life and destroy the Western civilization, which is what you said they're doing, because they at one time ruled the world, and now they became inferior in a sense, and they want to recapture that glorious position that they had. You say it was centuries ago, which is a very interesting explanation.
Yeah, because nobody paid attention to this side of the story.
Right. No, it's very important that we put this on television and air it. And so then they become militant, and they become aggressive, and they become fulfilled with a dream that they are going to recapture the glory in the sense of the Islamic world.
Yeah.
And that's what we're facing today. Is that true?
In a way, that's true. So it is a kind of romance. It's romantic, but it's a bloody romance, by the way.
Very bloody.
Very bloody. Very bloody. I share this tragedy. It's a big tragedy, believe me, for all of us.
In modern Middle East history, only one peace treaty has stood the test of time, the 1978 Camp David Accord. In the new documentary film, Backdoor Channels, The Price of Peace, learn the true story behind the greatest diplomatic achievement of our time and its lessons for the future.
The price of peace is very high. To have this courageous man and my close friend killed.
Winner of the Telly Award for Best Cultural Program. Now available at select stores including Barnes & Noble and online at Amazon.com. The preceding program was brought to you by Backdoor Channels, The Price of Peace.